Looking through the annals of NFL history, it's pretty amazing that certain players never made it into the Hall of Fame. You look at their production, their franchise records, or even just their significance on a certain team. Truly, without a doubt, there are some players out there that are completely underappreciated. There are several factors that make an NFL player underrated. Maybe he was overshadowed by other teammates, or maybe he was stuck on a lousy team and thus didn't get the recognition he deserved. At any rate, we're here to recognize some of the best players that were always overlooked. It's time to dive into the most underrated player in every NFL team's history. Arizona Cardinals, Jackie Smith. Unfortunately, most NFL fans, at least Dallas Cowboys fans, seem to remember Smith for his costly drop in the end zone of Super Bowl 13 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a shame. That one play shouldn't define his legacy because the Cardinals legend is one of the true tight end GOATs. The Hall of Famer earned 5 Pro Bowl nods on a mostly non-competitive Cardinals team. Atlanta Falcons, Chuck Smith. Smith was a big-time starter in his 8 years with the Falcons. Smith posted 58.5 sacks in 123 games over those 8 seasons with Atlanta. Despite the quality production, he never earned a Pro Bowl nod. He was also key in helping the '98 Falcons reach Super Bowl 33, where they fell to John Elway's Denver Broncos. Baltimore Ravens, Haloti, Ngata. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Terrell Suggs were the big three of the Ravens defense that dominated the league in the 2000s and early 2010s. But 5-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Haloti Ngata also played a major role in Baltimore's success. Ngata was a premier run stopper who added extra toughness and physicality to an already intimidating defense. He wasn't a Hall of Fame talent like Lewis, Reed, or Suggs, but for a brief period, few defensive tackles took over games like him. Oh, and the guy helped Baltimore win Super Bowl 47. Buffalo Bills, Cornelius Bennett. When you think of the 90s Buffalo Bills powerhouse, you mostly think of Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, and Bruce Smith. We get it, but Cornelius Bennett's contributions should not be overlooked. Soon after being drafted by the Colts, Bennett was traded to the Bills in 1987 before ever playing a game for Indy. He helped Buffalo to 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, racking up 52.5 sacks and 22 forced fumbles in 9 seasons there. Carolina Panthers, Charles Johnson. The Georgia product spent his entire 11-season career with the Panthers. Johnson had fairly consistent production that was always overlooked, as evidenced by his 0 career Pro Bowl and All-Pro selections. Johnson posted 67.5 sacks, good for second all-time on the Panthers leaderboard, behind only Julius Peppers. Johnson also helped Carolina to 4 NFC South Division titles and a Super Bowl 50 appearance. Chicago Bears, Steve McMichael. McMichael was a key cog on the legendary '85 Bears defense that propelled the team to a Super Bowl 20 championship. But unlike Mike Singletary, Richard Dent, and Dan Hampton, McMichael isn't enshrined in Canton. McMichael's 92.5 sacks place him second all-time in Bears history behind only Dent. He hit at least 7 sacks in 9 different seasons as a Bear, yet somehow that was only good enough for 2 Pro Bowl selections. Cincinnati Bengals, Ken Riley. A 6th-round pick in the 1969 draft, Riley didn't need much time to prove the doubters wrong. He was one of the NFL's elite ball-hawking corners, helping Cincy to 5 playoff appearances in his career. This included a trip to Super Bowl 16. Riley's 65 career picks are tied with Charles Woodson for 5th most ever. Yet Riley only garnered 3 All-Pro selections and never earned a spot in the Hall of Fame. Shocking, isn't it? Cleveland Browns, Dick Schafrath. Schafrath anchored the Browns O-line that helped Jim Brown become arguably the greatest running back ever. But even though he guided the Browns to an NFL championship in 1964, Schafrath never really got the credit he deserved. 6 Pro Bowl and 4 first-team All-Pro nods are nice and all, but where's his spot in the Hall of Fame? Few offensive linemen were as consistently dominant as him during the 60s after all. Dallas Cowboys, Darren Woodson. Woodson was taken 37th overall by the Cowboys in 1992, thanks to the Minnesota Vikings' extreme generosity in that Herschel Walker trade. The 5-time Pro Bowl safety was on a star-studded Dallas team that won 3 Super Bowls over a 4-year span from 1992 to 95. Unfortunately, he was often overlooked while playing alongside Hall of Famers like Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, Larry Allen, and Charles Haley. Denver Broncos, Rod Smith. John Elway had no shortage shortage of weapons during the Broncos' back-to-back Super Bowl championship seasons. We're talking Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp, Ed McCaffrey, and Rod Smith. It was unfair. All that talent on offense made it hard for Smith to stand out, even though he's the all-time Broncos leader in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdown catches. The man also surpassed 1,000 yards in 8 different seasons. Detroit Lions, Lomas Brown. The star offensive tackle may have won his lone Super Bowl ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2002, but his best years came with the Lions. Brown was a rock on the Lions O-line for 11 years from 1985 to 1995. He was a world-class blocker for legendary running back Barry Sanders. As a 6-time Pro Bowler with the Lions, he simply deserves more recognition for his greatness. Green Bay Packers, LeRoy Butler. Butler is a legend in Packers land thanks to his creation of the Lambeau Leap. But it's easy to forget that he was also a key component of the Brett Favre, Reggie White-led Packers powerhouse in the 90s. Butler, who recorded 38 career picks, helped Green Bay to 2 NFC title banners and a Super Bowl 32 ring. He was named to the 1990s All-Decade Team, too. Houston Texans, Matt Schaub. Schaub's final season with the Texans in 2013 was a disaster, no doubt. That doesn't take away his otherwise stellar contributions to the NFL's youngest franchise. Schaub went 46-42 throughout 7 years with the Texans. He led the NFL with 4,770 passing yards in 2009. And of course, he made this franchise relevant by helping them to consecutive AFC South Division titles in 2011 and 2012. Indianapolis Colts, Edgerrin James. The Hall of Famer was often overshadowed by the Colts' explosive passing offense led by Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Dallas Clark. James won the rushing title back-to-back years in 1999 and 2000. He is far and away the Colts' all-time rushing leader, but playing with a 5-time MVP QB and 2 Hall of Fame receivers will usually make you underrated. Jacksonville Jaguars, Jimmy Smith. A Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys, Smith actually became a household name when he joined the Jaguars in their inaugural 1995 season. He hit over 1,000 receiving yards 9 times, including 7 straight years from 1996 to 2002. The Jaguars also reached the AFC Championship twice under Smith's guidance in 96 and 99. Kansas City Chiefs, Priest Holmes. After winning a Super Bowl with the Ravens in 2000, Holmes signed with the Chiefs and became one of the game's most dynamic running backs. Holmes won the rushing title in his first year with the Chiefs. In 2002, he won Offensive Player of the Year honors after racking up 1,615 yards and 21 rushing scores. Holmes also had a ridiculous league-leading 27 rushing touchdowns in 2003, and his 76 rushing scores are the most in franchise history. Las Vegas Raiders, Steve Wisniewski. You can argue that Wisniewski is on the Mount Rushmore of Hall of Fame snubs. I mean, 8 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pro selections, and another 6 second-team All-Pro nods? Guards that good don't grow on trees. Yes, it's tough for offensive linemen to get in, but what more did Canton want from Wisniewski? The guy was an absolute force in the trenches. Los Angeles Chargers, Lee Williams. The Chargers were among the NFL's worst teams during Williams' tenure there, which spanned from 1984 to 1990. Playing on a non-competitive small-market team is a recipe for being underrated, though. Williams was one of the game's most productive pass rushers as a Charger, recording 65.5 sacks over 100 games. This included a 15-sack season in 1986. Los Angeles Rams, Steven Jackson. He wasn't quite as dominant as Eric Dickerson or Marshall Faulk, but it's Jackson who comfortably holds the Rams' all-time rushing record with 10,138 yards. Unfortunately for Jackson, the Rams were pretty terrible in his 9 seasons there. He only saw the postseason as a Ram once back in his 2004 rookie year, but boy was he ever the model of consistency, something you don't see too often in running backs these days. Miami Dolphins, Garo Yepremian. Yepremian's superb career is often overshadowed by the timeless Garo's gaff blooper in Super Bowl VII. Even though Miami won that game, Yepremian was the kicker for the 2 Miami Super Bowl championship teams in the 70s. That obviously included the perfect 1972 club. Yepremian was the best kicker of his era, as evidenced by his inclusion in the 1970s All-Decade Team. He more than did his part in helping the Dolphins grow into a powerhouse under Don Shula. Minnesota Vikings, Jim Marshall. Like Yepremian and Jackie Smith, Marshall is probably best remembered for a classic blooper, the whole wrong way run, when he gave up a safety in a 1964 game against the San Francisco 49ers. But Marshall was a game wrecker on Bud Grant's Vikings, who went to 4 Super Bowls and of course won the 1969 NFL Championship. Marshall played 20 seasons and pieced together what should have been a Hall of Fame career, except, well, it still hasn't been inducted. New England Patriots, Troy Brown. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Adam Vinatieri, and that loaded defense got most of the credit for the Patriots' Super Bowl 36, 38, and 39 titles. But this dynasty isn't entirely possible without Brown. Brown's numbers were never eye-popping. He only hit 1,000 yards once and earned just the 1 Pro Bowl nod. But he was a steady performer in his 15 seasons, all with the Pats. And the man sure had a lot of clutch moments, like his 2001 AFC Championship game punt return touchdown, or his 2006 AFC Divisional Round forced fumble on Marlon McCree. New Orleans Saints, Jari Evans. Evans was drafted by the Saints in the 4th round back in 2006, the same year they landed Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and Reggie Bush. It was a defining year for the franchise, alright. Together with Brees and Payton, Evans helped the Saints grow into an NFC powerhouse. They reached the postseason 5 times with Evans, and of course they won Super Bowl 44 against the Colts. Evans was also named to the Pro Bowl 6 times, as well as to the 2010s All-Decade Team. New York Giants, Amani Toomer. Toomer is far and away the Giants franchise leader in every major receiving category, but boy was he often overlooked. Was it because he played with Tiki Barber? Toomer hit over 1,000 yards every year from 1999 to 2003, and he made several big plays in the Giants' historic Super Bowl 42 upset over the previously undefeated Patriots. New York Jets, Freeman McNeil. McNeil was among the top running backs in the 80s. He guided them to a 1982 AFC Championship appearance and to 5 total playoff berths. McNeil led the NFL in rushing during the 1982 season, and before Curtis Martin surpassed him, McNeil retired as the Jets' franchise rushing leader with 8,074 yards. The Philadelphia Eagles, Clyde Simmons. Simmons and Reggie White are one of the greatest pass-rushing duos the game of football has ever seen. Of course, everybody knows about White and his legendary status. Simmons wasn't as good as White, but riddle us this. How is a guy with 121.5 sacks, 76 of them with Philly, not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, come on now. He even led the league with 19 alone in the 1992 season. Pittsburgh Steelers, Nelsie Greenwood. This man was a member of the Steelers' 4 Super Bowl championship teams in the 70s, and yet you don't see the 6-time Pro Bowler's name in the Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, Mel Blount, and Mean Joe Green are in the Hall. Greenwood, as you can see, just had too many other stars around him to earn the attention he deserved. But hey, 4 rings is 4 rings. San Francisco 49ers, Bryant Young. Young won his lone Super Bowl championship with the 49ers as a rookie in 1994, playing on a team that had 10 total Pro Bowlers, including Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and Deion Sanders. Obviously meant being overshadowed. But Young was a force on the 49ers defense throughout his 14-year career. Named to the 1990s All-Decade Team, Young racked up 89.5 career sacks and earned 1999 Comeback Player of the Year honors. Only Cedric Hardman had more sacks as a 49er. Seattle Seahawks, Max Strong. Strong was all about proving the doubters wrong. For one, he was undrafted. And secondly, he was a fullback, a position that obviously didn't receive much attention during his playing career. Mac played his entire 14-year career with Seattle. The 2-time Pro Bowler blocked for 2005 League MVP Sean Alexander and 2 other 1,000-yard rushers in Ricky Watters and Chris Warren. Strong played a big role in helping Seattle reach Super Bowl 40, their first ever appearance in the big game. So hey, not bad for an undrafted product. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Lavonte David. Thing is, David has always been a stud linebacker. You just didn't notice until the Bucs signed Tom Brady, became relevant again, and won Super Bowl 55. David was always overlooked on a mediocre team based in a small market. But you saw in 2020 just how much of a game wrecker he was on that defense. I wouldn't be shocked if he's overlooked by Hall of Fame voters when the time comes. Regardless, he's going down as one of the absolute best linebackers of this era. On Tennessee Titans, Keith Bulluck. Bulluck was the glue of the Titans defense for a decade, from 2000 to 2009. This do-it-all workhorse hit over 100 tackles in 6 seasons. He was also a slick turnover specialist, recording 19 picks and 15 forced fumbles. Tennessee went to the postseason 5 times with Bulluck. Oh, and he only missed 3 games in his decade-long tenure with the Titans. The Washington football team, London Fletcher. Fletcher won a Super Bowl 34 ring with the Rams and spent 5 years with the Bills before signing with Washington in 2007. And that's where he had his best years. Fletcher missed precisely 0 games in his 16-year career. He was the key cog on Washington's defense for 7 years, earning 4 Pro Bowl selections and helping them to playoff appearances in 2007 and 2012. Oh, and the guy posted over 100 tackles in each of his 7 seasons with Washington. But who do you think is the most underrated player in NFL history? Join us in the comments section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.